Forget to develop poor countries. It's time to develop rich countries by Jason Hickel. Jason Hickel is an economic anthropologist, author, and a fellow of the Royal Society of Arts. According to Jason Hickel, we can end poverty by changing the rules of global economy. He examines the solutions to reverse the development dynamics and to eradicate poverty in a global scale. What do you call the tale of catching up? The dominant story that is handed down to us from technocrats and the media is that global poverty is rapidly decreasing and thanks to free market globalizations. If we try to look at the very accurate poverty lines, it's clear that the reality is more complex. The number of people living on less than $5 per day, the minimum necessary for good nutrition and human life expectancy, has increased dramatically since 1980s, particularly during the era of structural adjustments. It is estimated that 4.2 billion people live with less than this amount. It is nearly 60% of the world's populations. And it suggests that our social approach to the development is basically failed. Why poor countries poor and why massive poverty still exists in a world of plenty? We tend to imagine that the poverty of poor countries has to do with their internal domestic problems. Maybe it is corruption or weak institutions. Of course, that is something to do with it. But we too often ignore the much more significant external forces that perpetuate poverty. What evolutions do you recommend to promote a more equal exchange? We need to democratize institutions to the global economic governance. We need to reform the TRIPS of agreement. And we need to end the tax evasions by closing the tax havens. What should be the role of development agencies? It's clear that development agencies need to shift their focus beyond aid to tackle the structural determinants of global poverty and inequality. We need to help the people understand that it is a problem and that it is perpetuated in a large part by the rules of the global economic system and that we should work together to change those rules. Is it possible to eradicate poverty while we have already overpassed the ecological limits of our planet? Yes, it is possible to end poverty. We already know that it is possible to achieve high levels of human development with relatively low ecological impact because some countries have already done it, like Costa Rica and Cuba. We can hold such countries up as models for other developing countries to emulate. When it comes to sustainable development, poor countries are the easy part. It is rich countries that are the hardest part or the hard part. Is it possible to make such reductions while at the same time pursuing GDP growth? The answer, according to all available studies, is no. That means that rich countries need to shift to a completely different economic model, one that instead of relying on endless growth, enables human flourishing in the absence of growth. How to build an alternative to the endless growth model? We can end poverty right now without any additional to aggregate to global growth, simply by changing the rules of the global economy so that the poor countries capture a fairer share of global income. Decommoditizing key social goods like healthcare, education, and perhaps even housing would allow people to access the sources they need to live well without endlessly increasing their incomes to do so. There are dozens of exciting ideas out there that it's time to start experimenting. It's time to evolve beyond capitalism towards something better, something more caring, more intimate, more beautiful, and more ecological, and more good life.
Technology as a process. In a very tiny nutshell, part of the argument is that technology should be understood or bringing into existence. Revealing. Process means revealing or bringing something into existence that did not exist before. I think that is the very useful way to look at technology in our modern technological world.
Technology, mode of revealing or way of revealing. According to Heidegger, technology is a form of poesis, which means a way of revealing that conceals aletheia or the truth. Technology today is a challenging force of nature so that the technologically altered nature of things is always a situation in which nature and objects await. Standing is reserved for our use, whereas everything is viewed as a standing reserve. And in that, it loses its natural objective identity. Because essence or approaches into the technology, this means that technological approaches have their own essential or valuable presence and the toleration relationship among of it. As we've read the article of Jason Hickel, it talks about how can a country develop by the means of technology as a business. An article that compares the lives of the people before and now will make the anyone realize the changes that happen in society in terms of culture. Technology is nothing that technological because anything that technological can be physical, be something that we as human have taken. That's why we strongly believe that technology means to an end or human activity. Therefore, we notify the true essential and the value of it. Technology also aims to identify and focus on the effective outcome or learning rather than the time-based learning.
Technology as in framing is the mode which everything comes into the open and makes sense of us. In ordering or in ordinary German, Gestel makes it means framework.
Means to achieve something faster and in an easier manner. Modern technology has led to the evolution of. Here are some advantages of technology in our daily lives. First is save time. The second one is improve banking. The third one is several devices such as smartphone, computers, and etc.
Technology as means of a good life. Technology leads to a good life as it is responsible for responsibility for advancement in all sectors of the economy.
Technology in our modern technological world. Technology means as a good life. Yes. Technology leads us to a good life as it is responsible for advancement in all sectors of the economy. It is because it provides us as a means to achieve something faster and in an easier manner.